Okay, so this one is about the nature of a lie. The nature of a lie. And this is unlikely to be what you're expecting, because a lie has such a negative connotation attached to it. But of course, every aspect of nature has a shadow and light aspect, and it's the same with a lie. So on many episodes, I've gone into the nature of deception and deceit, and the positive benefit, and that the mind, our mind uses deception in order to protect the innocence of the soul, meaning that it purposefully creates a lie that we can believe in so that we can avoid the reality of the truth. Because if when innocence is lost, so is the potential for evolution. If you believe that something's impossible, or that if you believe you're limited in some way, then that significantly impacts your ability to evolve and expand and become more. And so this is what dissociation is. It's our mind creating a story that we can believe in temporarily, so that we can continue to evolve and expand until we're mature enough to accept the reality of that truth. Whether the reality of that truth is that our parents were incapable of loving us, that we're worthless, that we're insignificant, that we're all these things that, as we become more evolved, we understand the nature of these things, and that they're aspects of every human being's nature. The dissociative state and the story, that's a lie that we can believe in, saves us and enables us to continue evolving, so that we do become mature enough at some point to accept the reality of the ultimate truth of what we dissociated from in the first place. So I want to talk about a lie. Now, a lie is hugely beneficial, hugely beneficial. And the reason I want to talk about the nature of a lie, specifically rather than deception or anything else, is because fundamentally every aspect of your life is a lie. Every aspect of your life is a lie, because the only thing that is of substance, that's truly of substance, is plasma. is the analog, primordial substance from which all life arises. And the best way to think of this is really to compare analog to digital. When I speak, the sound that is coming out of my mouth and is emanating from other parts of my body as I'm speaking, it's analog. It's a pure vibration that emanates directly from its source. Now, if I record my voice into a microphone, and bring it into a computer, then my voice is being converted from analog into digital. It becomes data, ones and zeros. And so, if I'm using software to play that back to me, it's a digital representation of an analog source. So the purity is my voice. I'm speaking, and someone will be having to sit next to me and hearing my voice to experience the analog sound. And this is why live music is so profound. Going to a concert is so profound, because they run all of those sounds. Well, most of the time. It's not totally true these days, but any sound engineer that's worth their salt will attempt to utilize the analog source and to create an analog experience so that everyone is hearing everything through analog equipment, an analog mixing desk, an analog PA system. There's no analog to digital conversion going on. It's purely an amplification of the sound that's actually emanating from its source. And so hopefully that makes sense, but understanding that your entire reality is digital, the whole thing, everything. It's we know science is beginning to show very strong evidence that we're living in a hologram, and it's absolutely true, because everything in our reality is photonic light stepped down. It's photonic light stepped down, and a light is pure energy. It's pure wave, and so everything in our reality that we experience is a unique vibration that's contained within that original wave. So if you took the bandwidth of the frequency of light, then everything within our experience is a band within that band. And so you could say that the hologram that we're living in is a digital, but it all comes from an analog source. So what that means is it's a lie. It's a lie. It is a representation of, it's not real, basically. It is of no substance. And it is only the meaning that we've imbued into what it is that determines its nature. And so our true nature is that we are one thing. We are the analog substance. We are the pure plasma. We are the source of all that is, experiencing a lie, which is that we are separate from that thing, that we are in an individual component of that thing. And this is why paradox is, it can be so confusing, because we live in a lie that is very, very real, but only because we choose for it to be real. And that's the whole point. The whole point is to create an illusion. Is to create an illusion that we're separate so that we can experience things like togetherness and connection, belonging. So the only way to experience these things is to create a lie, is to create a deliberate perception that we can, and a mechanism for us to forget that who we really are, that we're all the same thing. We're all this analog substance. We're all the source of all that is. Every single one of us is. That there is no separation. That there is only oneness and wholeness. And we've purposefully created a lie that we can fool ourselves into believing, so that we can have these experiences of connection, of togetherness, of everything, that's contained within this hologram. Now, the reason I'm not going to go super deep into this, because it's obviously a massive topic, I will do I would say I'll do a nerdy version of this at some point. But the reason I want to illuminate this now is because of resistance to lies. If you are resistant to lying, and most people are, all of us are, And because of that, most of us hold shame when we lie. Most of us shame others for lying. Most of us believe that we are entitled to the truth from people, that they're not entitled to withhold the truth or to deceive or to lie. And the truth is that if you are resistant to lying, if you are resistant to a lie, you are holding resistance to your reality. And if you are resistant to your reality, which is a lie, remember, it's all digital. It's a digital projection that creating a false reality that we're all separate and that we're not one thing, we're multiple things, and it is just one big lie, a deliberate, purposeful, beneficial lie that's meant to be fun and enjoyable. Nonetheless, it's a lie, and so to resist a lie is to resist life itself. And the problem with this is if you're resistant to the lie, then you are incapable of receiving it. You're incapable of receiving it. And, parts of the lie are, well, all it's trying to do is to be received and accepted. That if you resist and reject lying, then your life will feel antagonistic. It will feel like it's probing you. And it will continually be pressing you, because what it really wants is for you to uncover your resistance to lying, your resistance to the lie, so that you can accept it, so that you can integrate it, and therefore receive everything that the lie has to offer. So, just to bring this full circle, it's like we're so fixated on the truth. We are so fixated on the truth, and this constant search for truth. And what I would say is understanding is the key that unlocks everything. The truth doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the reality of what is here and now. And your own interpretation of what that means is more important than the truth seen through the lens of someone's perspective. Your interpretation of the meaning of your reality now is the most important thing. And you could have a completely warped interpretation of your reality right now compared to someone else's, and which one's true? Both of them are true, and neither of them are true. One is a lie, one is a truth, but from each other's perspective, it's the other way around. So both are true. The truth is that this is a lie and it is a truth. And so you have to accept the paradox. You have to embrace that everything is a lie and it is also a truth. It is your interpretation of the reality in front of you now that matters. It's all that matters. It's literally what is materializing matter. Because this entire hologram is a projection of your state of consciousness in every moment. In every moment, it's mirroring to you your consciousness. And what that really means is that in this moment, everything you're experiencing in your life is a projection of your interpretation of your current reality. Of your current reality. And not the truth of it. Not the truth of it. Your interpretation of it. And so that's what consciousness is. Right now, in this moment, I am aware that this means XYZ. Right now, in this moment, I'm unaware of what this means, and therefore my reality is mirroring to me that uncertainty. So rather than seeking truth, seek meaning. And as you're seeking meaning, consciously interpret the hidden meaning that you've assigned to things that's actually creating a whole bunch of things in your life that you probably don't want. And there's lots of ways to do that. There's so many ways we can hack our consciousness. It's like a biology hack. We can hack our consciousness in so many different ways. It's like, money is a classic one. If you're living in a fear of lack, what's the best way to hack that? Well, every single time you receive a payment, put 10% of it in your savings account. Every time, and never ever touch it for as long as you live. Never ever ever spend it, even if it accumulates to $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. Whatever that buffer needs to be for you to know that you will never be in lack, then hack your consciousness. Because the thing that creates a sense of security and a sense of being in abundance is to know that no matter what happens, there's something to fall back on, that you're going to be okay. So you have to consciously create that. You have to consciously appreciate being within an environment where there's a buffer, there's a surplus. And you're always creating from that surplus. You're never trying to create something from a deficit. And, the key to that is, I'm not going to go into this right now, but the key to that is for the surplus must always be seen. Must be seen and understood. Rather than the surplus having to come from somewhere that is unseen or unknown. It must be seen. And it must be understood that this is a surplus. So, it's pretty easy to hack your consciousness. But it's key to understand that, it's your interpretation of everything that is creating your reality. It's not the truth of it. It's what it means to you. So, one more thing about the nature of the lie that I want to touch on is it is absolutely, totally beneficial and okay to lie and to create lies. Because what is a story? What is a story? A story that about something that hasn't happened. So let's say, I've lived the life that I've lived. We're sitting around a campfire, and I tell you a story about some business venture I was involved with, and this happened, and then that happened, and then we did this, and this is what I learned, this is what I understood, and then I was able to use that wisdom to then create this in my life, and da-da-da. I'm telling you a story from a place of wisdom. This is an experience I had, and this is my interpretation, and this is what it meant to me. There's another kind of story. Once upon a time, there was this man, and he got involved in a business venture, and he did this, and he came to understand that, and da 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 da. It never happened. So it's a lie. It's a lie. Nonetheless, that lie can contain symbology or a metaphor that has the potential to inspire people. And sometimes a lie that is created, it can give someone something to believe in that can temporarily hack their consciousness. So you can see, in the same way that our mind, can create dissociation and give us a false interpretation on a traumatic event so that we can get through it. A lie can be extremely potent in order to create a sense of a hope, or give us something to believe in now that hacks our consciousness, now and enables us to evolve into the truth of that reality at another point, you see? So, there are many, many beneficial ways to utilize a lie, a deliberate lie. And this isn't a malicious thing. This isn't a malicious thing. Everything that is possible is made possible because of a single moment of hope. I'm hopeful that the potential for this exists. If I believe in this for long enough, I could then come to believe that it's possible. I'm hopeful it can happen. Now I believe it's possible. Eventually, I'll come to believe that it's probable. And at some point, the inevitability of the realization of that will take over. And, just to put the cherry on top right now, everything you are envisaging about your life that you want, that is not real, that is just imagined, is a lie. The whole thing, it's just a story. You receive a thought, you give that thought your unconditional presence. That thought becomes a vision. You can't help but seek to interpret that vision. And the interpretation of that vision is a story. It's a story, and that story is not true. It's not real. It's a lie. The essence of that story is that it's a lie. But if you feel inspired by that vision, if you feel inspired by that story, if it gives you hope, if it gives you something to believe in, that calls you to action and to express yourself in ways that are creative, then how beneficial is that lie? How beneficial is that story? And what I would say to you is, trust the lie. Trust that lie implicitly. Lean into it. Adopt it. Personify it. Act as though it's true and that it is real now. With the state of consciousness and the maturity of understanding what you're doing, I'm choosing to completely immerse myself in this lie until I've made it my reality. And you begin to adopt the energy of that I am this. I am what I see in my vision. And this is how you hack your consciousness. You allow yourself to believe in a lie, to believe that it's possible, to believe that it's your destiny, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't ignore your interpretation of the current reality now. As long as you don't ignore, or as long as you don't allow yourself to create and move towards that vision from a space of deficit rather than surplus. How can I create from a surplus now? And how can I reveal and how can I receive a surplus, or the surplus that is available to me now that I currently cannot see? The surplus will come in ways that you will blow your mind. The expertise of people, the skills of people, the resources of people, the money of people that they would be prepared to utilize to back someone to realize a vision that they're inspired by. You see? You have to understand. You have to understand. Create from a surplus now. Otherwise, you're, I'll do another podcast episode on this at some point. But believe in the lie. Believe in the lie. Fuel the lie. Make it more. Appreciate it. Make the story even greater and more profound and inspirational and powerful, and keep believing in the lie consciously. Until it becomes the manifested reality. And when you do this from utilizing a method of creating from a surplus, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be unstoppable. You're giving yourself to this vision, and you're allowing yourself to receive from your reality, from the lie that's in front of you right now. From the surplus that's available to you right now, it is fueling the lie that you want to become the truth. Your truth. And so the two are symbiotic. And, in truth, this is a key to living in an abundant state. But I'll go into that in another podcast as well. This is really for you to understand and integrate the reality of a lie, and to appreciate the potency and the power of a lie, and of giving yourself to a lie in a conscious way. In a conscious way, I'm now choosing to receive and leverage the full potential of this lie. I'm prepared to give of myself to this lie, to give it more and more of my energy, so that I can receive more and more inspiration that can carry me forward from where I am now, from the surplus of what I have to create with now, for me to realize and understand and accept and receive all of the surplus that is available to me now, that is currently unseen, that is currently unappreciated. How can I receive even more of this now? And that's it. That's all for the nature of a lie. And, reach out to me if you've got any questions. I'm very keen to start sharing even more on this topic as, for me in my life right now, I'm going through a transition out of a massive project I've been involved with. I've got people around me, projects and people around me who are integrating this awareness and this understanding in their own lives to create their own projects. And it's the impact is profound and incredibly rewarding for me. And, I want to share more and more on this topic, but I don't want to share the lie about it, the vision about it. I want to share my experience of it as I go. So hopefully I'll be doing more podcasts of this nature in the future. Okay, that's all for now for The Nature of a Lie. Catch you soon.